Huh.
You see that?
What's that? I
Okay.
celebrate 420 on 1/5 because I know now to reduce. I didn't pass math class, dude. I'm not that good at that stuff.
That's my buddy that owns the CBD shop.
That's great. That is great. Mute this shit.
I
Get
know.
that.
I know now to reduce fractions. It's good.
Share.
I'll put it in all the ones I know I won't get kicked out of. Which ain't many. I think the difference is like you have more lovers, Dave.
Him.
No, you. You. Talking about you, Dave Carroll.
Well, you know, Gary, a wise man once told me you get more flies with honey than you do. Gary's out here cursing the world.
Oh, you know what?
I'm trying to show some love, man.
On your YouTube account, we have to go in and enable live streaming, and it takes 24 hours to proposition, so it won't let it go.
Cool.
Won't let it
No,
go.
dude, I was listening to some music the other day, and I heard a song that said something about like you receive blessings to share them. And so like it's crazy to me that like I've owned a company for 10 years that I have nothing to do with. Like absolutely nothing. We were talking to a guy today for Dope Marketing, a roofing buddy of ours, a local guy here that does work through Lionshare. He's a subcontractor for some stuff we do. And he was asking me these questions like, what do you use for answering service? How much do you pay a month for that? What do you pay? What do you have to get insured to do this work? I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, Barin is detached too now, correct?
David?
No, Barin.
Oh, Barin. Yeah. So we did a really good job this year of attempting to remove Barin from the business. So my wife runs our cleaning company, and we hired 2 more people in the office, and then her brother, my brother-in-law, that's been with the company like 9 years, he finally, like, I was trying to force it for years to get him in the position of where he could kind of like manage more and oversee and not necessarily be in the field. But it's like the job I thought I wanted when I was getting myself out of the business, like doing estimates, fixing problems, being off the ladder, like out of the truck, not on a job site, but instead like going to fix stuff, going to meet with a client. We had a property manager who needs us to walk a property or whatever type of thing. Like that's where I thought I wanted to be. And we had hired a guy years ago to do that. We were paying him almost like $80,000 a year to basically do what I thought someone was supposed to do. And that didn't really work out. We did that for about 18 months and there just wasn't enough there. We'll talk about that another time. But with Jeff, Jeff is my brother-in-law. I had learned what I needed from that position, being that I had played it, but I also hired for it and failed before. And so like this year was really just the culmination of a lot of things that went wrong enough to get them right. And that allowed for not only me to be completely removed from the business still, but my wife to also like offload tasks of things. I was joking the other day. We had like a $2,500 fix on something and I didn't even hear about it. Like, it's not my business. What's going to happen? I'm going to get pissed or something. I'm going to whatever, try to figure something out where it's like.
The best was you guys were driving somewhere and Barin gets a call. Dude was in a car accident. And I'm talking to you. And you're like, what? Where? I'm like, what are you talking to? I thought you were talking to me. And you're talking to Barin because you're hearing that conversation for the first time that someone had an accident the day before, though. The day before.
Crashed the truck the day before. I didn't hear about it. Because what's going to happen? I mean, you really think about that. When you put yourself in the position of God, maybe you're doing your first hire this year. Maybe you like got your first hire down, but it was hard. And now you're trying to hire a couple more guys going into this year. It's like the things that cross your mind, like, what if I'm not there? What's going to happen? What if it all goes wrong? What if? It's like, what if you just didn't fucking know about it? and you never had to experience it, and life goes on, the thing gets fixed, and the company keeps moving, because regardless if you're involved or not, it's like you read a lot in these business books or the entrepreneurial stuff about like giving up control. And that's a big part of it, is like, you really do have to give up control of your business to grow or to scale. I heard the other day about like even the size of your shop. It's like your aquarium. It's like your cage. And the bigger it is, you put a shark in a fish tank and it's like, it can only get so big. But if you put them in a bigger tank, it's like, it can get bigger.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing with your business, whether that's your office space, your shop space. But it also goes into like what things are you actually involved in? To David Sessions and some of the most stellar systems I've seen in a while in a business that does home service and home maintenance, like David's on his shit. But it's like, when you get that stuff in place, you still have to disconnect from all of it and allow it to happen, the good and the bad, because people will mess stuff up. Jobs will go wrong. Things will get misquoted. Stuff will get broken. And it's like, man, I got to the point where I was like, so what? Like, either I know or I don't, but we all still wake up tomorrow. We all, like, the business is going to continue. The lights are going to turn on. Everything still has to keep moving. And so I was really, really able to not only give up control for myself, but Barin, my wife running the company, help her through giving up control so that we could continue to grow and focus on other parts of the business.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always fun taking like the next step, whatever that is, like the next step in your business. Like we get I get asked questions all the time about how you got to this point or how you got to that point. And what guys miss out are like the issues that you have to overcome to get to that point. I mean, think about all the problems that you had to deal with before and the headaches. And I mean, I walked you through thinking about or commiserating about selling the business like 2 or 3 times, and you ended up not, which became like the best decision for you. But at the same time, you were able to get to where you're at because you went through all of those different things, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's crazy to think about like how close we got to that. I paid shit after the lawyers and everything. We almost paid $50,000 to not sell the business, and I'd pay it again 100 times, like for what we were able to learn and go through. So it's all part of the entrepreneurial journey. And I think like right now, do we have a specific topic tonight?
I put on here to talk about sales. I might have put sales in there, Dave, SELLS. But as a home service business owner, like how to take a lead and turn it into a customer. Like we get confused sometimes that sales is not marketing. Marketing is the attraction, the awareness, the engagement, getting someone interested, and then selling is turning them into a customer. And I think some people are great at both. Some people are good at one. Some people aren't good at one. Some people aren't good at either. But I know that, Dave Sessions and I were talking about this before you hopped on. We were talking about closing. We won't talk about what we're saying after that, but we were talking about closing. And I think it gets lost a lot of times with guys that concentrating on maximizing your revenue, maximizing where you take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. It gets lost. Like we get so focused on one area of our business, and then we got to stop and then go over here In fact, we were also talking about that, Dave Sessions, the ebb and flows. But I think sales is one of those things that doesn't get talked about as much. And like my favorite is everybody is the best salesman in the world. Put somebody in front of me and I'll sell them. You know, how many times have you heard that? A million times?
Once or twice.
I've heard it a few times. And
once or twice.
At the same time, like what that person calls selling is really just taking an order because they're interested based upon what was gone. So I want to hear, let's start with Dave Sessions. Dave, you've sold a ton of shit, right? You've sold cars, now pressure washing services, consulting services, things like that. So talk to us about your sales process and what you do to take somebody from that lead to closing them. And I know you have other guys involved in that, but let's hear, you also train people to do that, right?
Yeah, so I'll let's just walk you through it like I was taking it from beginning to end. A customer calls us currently, and we'll take down their information. We set up an itemized estimate, send it over to them via email. But before we send that email out, what we go do in person is try to build some rapport. So we'll go out to the house. Initially, we hand them a pamphlet. It's a booklet that goes over our company. It kind of lists some of the things that we do. And then what we'll do after that is walk around the house and talk about some of the things that we see the property needs. But after the property needs, and I always tell my sales guys this when we're training them, when you're trying to go around a property, when you point out a couple of needs, you need to state 1 or 2 sentences before that person realizes that you're for real. You know what you're doing. You don't have to continually go over and over and over again biodegradable chemicals and what we do with this washing, and we spray this and we do that. You do that 1 sentence, and then you go on to what their boat is in the driveway. You go on to the Braves cap that they're wearing. You start to build some rapport with that customer. And so a lot of people, and I tell people this all the time, is that people like to buy from people that they like. So if you can build that rapport and leave that customer with a lasting impression that 1, you know what you're doing, but 2, that you represent a good company, it makes it a lot easier for you to upsell. And this is coming from a company that, like, we don't charge the bottom dollar price. We're a very high-end company. We target $1 million up homes. And so if you're in that $500,000 or $600,000 home range and I'm giving you a price, I'm pricing it like you're $1 million home, because that's the service that we're used to giving. That's the processes and systems that we have in place. So when my guys show up, whether your home's $500,000 or $2 million, we're going to use the same property protection processes, the same processes that go around the property. So when I'm talking to people, the 2 things I try to point out to them is, build rapport and make sure that you do some type of factual, like, hey, this is how this is going to work, just so that you can state, like, I know what I'm doing, right? But after that 1 sentence, like, you're good. You don't need to repeat that over and over again. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. As far as, like, and we talk about this sometimes on my YouTube channel in our memberships. Our memberships, I like to tell people that a house is probably the number 1 investment that you're going to make in a lifetime. A car is probably the number 2 investment that you're going to make in a lifetime, most generally speaking. And so when you buy a car, the auto manufacturer actually finds it necessary to put a manual in your glove compartment. And they used to call it an owner's manual, but now if you actually look at it, it's called a preventative maintenance manual. And so the manufacturer knows to put that in there, because if they don't remind you at certain points that you need to do preventative maintenance on this huge investment that you've made, it will break down and cost a lot bigger money when it comes to the repairs of that breakdown. So if you're willing to see that that is something that makes sense for the second largest investment that you're going to make in your lifetime, why would you not see that that's going to be the thing that you need to use with your largest investment? So let's set up some type of preventative maintenance plan for the largest investment you've ever made, which is your home. Let's protect that year round and make sure that we're making sure that we're maintaining the needs of the property.
I just saw my buddy Rod Soul, who was in car sales forever before starting his business. He said fact find and needs analysis, which kind of goes along with what you were talking about. I mean, I think guys get too caught up in wanting to tell and not sell. I've watched guys try to, over the phone specifically, watch guys try to tell how great they were or tell what was so great about their company, instead of trying to figure out why that person inquired with you in the first place, and then figuring out how you can solve that problem without really giving them too much information, because a lot of times you can kill a sale with too much information that isn't necessary in terms of getting them to close. I mean, if somebody came to my house and they were trying to sell me a product that I called them about, or a service that I called them about, and they wanted to tell me how many freaking reviews they had and they have the best equipment ever, like, I would expect that shit. I don't know about you guys, but like, I would expect that. Like, I would expect you to be using the best. And if you're not, you better be telling me that you are. Or I would expect you to be insured. Like, I think we get, like, my favorite is, I got insurance, I'm licensed and I'm insurance, or I'm insured. Well, the last time I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but there's not a pressure washing license.
No.
Is there?
There's a general contractor's license that you have to put in some states, but like outside of that, yeah.
In Kentucky, we don't have those. You don't have to be that smart.
I think what happens is, like, a lot of entry-level business owners, and in fairness to anyone, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I started a cleaning company. You come into it as a technician or a salesperson, or you had a job doing something previously and you thought you could do a little better than, so you went and did it on your own. The idea is, like, I think when guys talk like that, it's just a lack of business acumen, of understanding, like, what goes into this stuff. And that's fine. Like, we all got to learn in some way, shape, or form. I think that, one thing that we got to remember in sales is, like, you got to be selfish for your customer. Like, they don't care about, there was a great analogy. Dennis, you told me before. It's like, you're at a restaurant and you have the customer sits down at the table and they want to order a meal. And it's like, there's a reason there's a waiter and a chef, because the chef is like, the chef knows the ingredients. He's cooking, he's cutting, he's peeling, he's searing, he's sweating. There's all this emotion and love that goes into the meal. And that's how a technician thinks. Like, you're making something.
Right.
The person at the table doesn't give a shit what the ingredients are. They're hungry. They just want to eat. And so it's like, yeah, you got to think about it like the waiter can explain the meal. It's got this great sauce and this awesome texture and it's so whatever. And the person's like, that sounds great. Give me that. But they don't care about the ratio of the technique of the thing that went into the thing that did the whatever. It's like direct response advertising is a tried and true thing that's happened since before they were selling pickaxes in California to the miners, covered wagons, whatever, like standard commerce.
Yep.
The idea is, like, sales, Gary, you explained at the beginning, there's sales and there's marketing. When you can target your perfect customer, give them an irresistible offer, and make it someone time sensitive so they convert, or maybe bring in a 5-year-old with his shirt off to explain something. What's up, Bubba? You want to say hi to the world? Say what's up. What's up, everybody?
What's up, dude?
Say it's super, super dope. All right. So the idea is, like, you target your perfect customer, you give them an irresistible offer, and you give them something time sensitive. And there's sales and there's marketing involved in that. But when you can take your customer by the hand and, like, walk them down the path of doing something, that's the sale. You have to make someone comfortable. You have to do what did your boy Rod say? Meet and greet, fact find, right? You take them by the hand. Hey, so Gary. David, jump in. What's up?
Hold on, Dave. So the pathway is called guess. It's greet, uncover, explore, suggest, and thank. If you can walk them, greet, uncover, explore, suggest, and thank. If you can use the guess method, then you can go through and uncover. You'll greet them. You'll uncover all of their needs. You'll explore the options that they have available. You'll suggest the solution to them. You'll thank them for their business because they bought from you because you followed the guess method. So, Yeah, that's what we use in sales. Is the guess method.
Greet, uncover, explore, suggest, thank. It seems pretty simple. And if you don't know what it is, Google it and then practice it on the next person that you talk to. Like,
absolutely right. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I'm looking at Rod Soul probably shaking his head probably really hard, because that sounds like a sales process used in car sales for sure. And guys should take that and use it anytime they're looking at somebody face to face to be able to take them to the next level. I mean, we used, in the mortgage industry, we used something that I preach called talk, but it's very similar. Like you have to get to the point of listening to that person tell you what's wrong, and they're not going to talk to you until they're comfortable with you. And you have to put them at ease. And I know a lot of guys want to go back to all the things that don't matter, when really what should matter is just finding out what that customer needs and wants. Like, one of the first things, like what I would tell my guys when they would show up at a job is go to the customer if they were home, go to the customer and say, what areas are we cleaning for you today? And most of the time they would take you to that one spot of the reason why they called you. And so then your job is to make sure that one spot gets done appropriately, correctly. I mean, and we put as much attention into that as possible. Obviously, we're there to do an entire job, but a lot of times it would be one spot, like one side of the house or one spot on the roof or one area of the concrete. And like you go get them. And so the same thing on the sales side of it. Like, let them tell you why you're talking to them in the first place, and then tell them how you're going to fix that problem. And Dave gives a great way for you to do that with guest. Greet, uncover, explore, suggest, and thank. And he forgot to say cash the check, but that comes after the point.
I was passionate while I was thanking him. But yeah,
instant mobile deposit.
Yeah.
Rod Soul says, always assume the sale. And so, like, what he means by that is when you show up, don't do things that make them say no, and don't ask them questions that make them say no. Like, I was always taught, don't ask a question if you don't know the answer. Or I take it back. Don't ask the question if you already know the answer, because that could put you in a position of them telling you no. But at the same time, I like asking questions that I know the answers to if they're going to say yes, because the psychology is getting them to say yes, so that at the end you're telling them, hey, we got openings on Wednesday or Friday. Our mornings or afternoons better for you, instead of, do you want me to come out and do this job for you? Like, that's not the close. You know what I mean? The close is, my favorite is, we can do it Thursday, is mornings or afternoons better for you. You know, that's the way we always tried to close, but that was more of an assumptive and aggressive way to do it, I guess.
Gary, do you purposely give them two options like that?
Sometimes it just depends on what it is we're selling. Like, if it was Christmas lights, I would. Pressure washing, just one. Christmas lights, more to do with capacity than anything, but pressure washing, we just say, we can do it Thursday, is mornings or afternoons better.
So you're always giving them two options, though. I've always trained my sales guys to give them two options at the end of the question. Don't ever leave them with an open-ended. So it's either a yes or no question, or it's a Thursday or Wednesday question. It's not anything else. Like, you're either giving them a question where it's Thursday or no, or it's
Wednesday. That's the same thing that you're doing. Thursday, does morning or afternoon work better? Yeah. I mean, that way there's not a way for them to they can tell you they're not interested, but there's not a way for them to come back and say, no, I don't want to do this. I mean, I think it comes back down to, and we're all going the same way, is get a process, get good at it, and follow the process. Dave has a process for everything in his business, and there's a reason for that. Like, he wants to be able to take people, plug that person in, and be able to have that person do the job to the best of their ability. And it's the same way with sales. I mean, at some point, you're going to figure out as a business owner, wherever you're at in your business, whether you want to be the one spraying the water or digging the holes or putting the shingles on, or if you want to be the person that's leading that crew. There's some people that they want to be in the field as an owner, and there's other people that they want to be directing and leading people. And so when you figure out when that is, you have to have systems for all those other things that you're not doing. Yeah. And, for me, we didn't have systems. We just had salespeople.
See, like Brandon Jones has got what I think sounds like a pretty decent system going. It's for marketing. It's not sales, but still.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a completely good idea. Like, do your neighborhood blast a week in advance. So on Mondays, you do next Monday's neighborhood blast. And by the time it gets to them, you're out, your truck's in their front yard. This is a great system to install over the course of the year. If you're doing this, you're going to see a lot more repeat business in a saturated area.
Yeah. Planting the seeds. I mean, that's the thing is like.
It's the difference between marketing and sales, though. This is a marketing system. This is not a sales system.
For sure.
Covering a need is a sales system. So.
Well, and that's the thing, like with ringless voicemail. I mean, ringless voicemail is definitely a marketing system, but when you answer that phone, it's a straight up sales call.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of guys get lost on it when they try to explain why the number showed up and the phone didn't ring. Like, that's my favorite thing to listen to. I'll get yelled at. Customer wants to do ringless. We do the ringless. They'll call me. Oh my God, this doesn't work because I'm trying to explain to them why the number showed up and the phone didn't ring. Who cares? They called you back. Yeah. That's all that matters. I always said something like, yeah, it's crazy how that happens, isn't it? But thanks for calling me back. The reason why I called you, and then you get into what it is that you sent that ringless voicemail for in the first place. But that goes back to getting caught up in the minutia of things or the things that you think are important instead of talking about what is important. And if you guys haven't done ringless voicemail, I would do it just for the fact of getting used to talking to that large amount of people. Number one, you're going to get people that are interested. And number two, you're going to hear objections that you didn't think you would hear unless you've been in phone sales before, and then you've heard those objections. I mean, ringless voicemail, like Dave, you dropped what, 40,000?
Yeah. So after I just wrote this down for somebody the other day, but after like no contact lists and people that didn't have voicemail set up on their cell phones, I think the total ended up being 28,000 that was delivered. And out of that 28,000, we did 0.5% was our conversion. We closed 25% of those that responded. And I know that 0.5% sounds really low, but when you do on 28,000, if you sit there and do the math and you convert 25% of those, you're looking at cost. Here's the thing, ringless voicemails, really low cost to do them. So I think our total for 28,000 voicemails was like $400 or something, and our return on that was over $4,500. So we more than enough made up for what we'd spent on marketing trying to get those ringless voicemails out there to our client base. And now we've established a client base that was larger than we could ever have, just organically growing the way that we work.
And so the guy that was doing it for you, like how adept was he at phone sales prior to that? Was he pretty good?
No, like he has been in sales before, so he's good at sales, but phone sales is a little bit different. And he had been kind of spoiled to the fact that like the way that our customers, a lot of people in pressure washing, which is the vertical that I work in, are spoiled to the fact that when someone calls you, it's because they're looking for your service. They're in that area. They're not used to calling someone cold and being like, hey, I know you're not interested in my service yet, but let me explain to you why this can be crucial to your lifestyle or how it can be convenient to your lifestyle. And so having to, and I've talked about this in some previous, talks with you guys, having to change some of the word tracks that we use. So instead of saying when we greeted the phone, like just off the greet, hey, this is David with Peach State Pressure Washing. How can I help you? We started answering the phone, hey, this is David with Peach State. And because we didn't describe what we were as a company at first, they had to ask us, hey, I'm calling this number because we called you back. If we answered Peach State Pressure Washing, they go, never mind, and hang up the phone. So we noticed just taking the two words out and making them ask us what we were calling for gave us an opportunity to implement our script that after a couple of days got to be really tight for the guy that was answering the phone, and it worked out well.
And so that was my next question. So how much of a learning experience did he get from taking all those calls to where at the end of it, like where was he at in the beginning and where was he at the end of it?
Yeah, so the first day he closed 2. The last day he closed 6. And so that's the difference in just a 5-day period of ringless voicemails. Now, granted, we were doing a lot of ringless voicemails, something like 830 ringless voicemails an hour. So we're doing a lot of ringless voicemails, so the learning curve was probably sped up a little bit. But over a 5-day period, we tripled what he was usually closing. And it went from the first day doing 2 to the second day doing 4. So we picked up on a couple of things and changed them instantly, and it worked out moving forward. And the more and more comfortable he got with it, we got to the point where on the third day, instead of just closing gutters, because he got good at that on the second day, why don't you also say, hey, while we were calling, and instead of calling about just gutter estimates in your area, we were calling about gutter and pressure washing in your area. And now all of a sudden we're opening up people to upsells. And by the fourth day, he's upselling people over the phone on pressure washing that just called for a gutter estimate. So by the 5th day, I feel like when we run this again, which we will in February or March, it's going to be much better because we already have a system down, we have a script in place, and we know where our touches are at when we're talking on the phone. Even down to the point that how to escalate your voice a little bit, how to have that pitch in your voice when you're talking about certain things, just causes the customer to react differently. If you're paying attention to those details, it's going to be voice inflection is huge. And if you're paying attention to that type of detail, you're going to be able to curb your learning very quickly.
Yeah. So that takes me to the next thing. So something that you could be doing right now, January and February, to really be building up your year really is to go back all of 2020. And if you have it, 2019, all those leads that you got in. And here's the thing that is going to butt hurt you a little bit. A lead is anytime somebody makes an inquiry. And so you should have information on them. A lead is not just when you give someone an estimate. And I know guys get confused with this and they'll say, I closed 80% of my leads. If you do, you should not be selling pressure washing. You should go and sell something that has a higher ticket and make a shit ton more money. All right. So my point is this: a lead is an inquiry, not an estimate. So anytime somebody calls you, messages you, asks you off the cuff about what it is you do, it's a lead. It is a lead, is a lead, is a lead. So what you have to start doing, and if you haven't done it, what you have to start doing right now is gathering information. Like the only way I would give somebody a quote is if that lead gave me their name, address, phone number, email. You don't want to give that to me? Well, then we're not going to get a chance with that lead because I'm not going to give you a quote, but it still was a lead. Our closing rate was 50%. Now, what you can do with all of those leads that you have a name and a phone number on in January and February that did not do business with you last year is you pick up the phone and you call a certain amount of them every day. And so what David was talking about, how the evolution of their script happened with ringless voicemail, if you call 10, 20 people a day and you get into conversations, you're going to realize what things you say are going to get people into conversations and what things you say are going to get people to hang up on you. And then once you realize what it is you can and can't say, then you can develop a better script to continual contact those people that did not do work with you in the past year, because that is a missing gold mine. Like your customer list is a gold mine, but that prospect list, that lead database, is just as big of a gold mine as that customer list, because they've already talked to you at some point. Like they've already had some type of communication. And so you have that information, take the information and do outreach. And I would use the phone as much as possible during these next couple months before you're back out in the field or back at it hard to touch base with a certain number, like make it a goal. Put it on a whiteboard in your office or something, like 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever that is. We're going to call each day. And if you have other people in the office, like enlist them to do the same thing, and then just go after them. And as you're going after them, as David was talking about with Ringless, you're going to get a lot better talking on the phone as you do it. I mean, reach out to me, Dave, whatever. Ask us for a basic script if you're not sure what to say. But at the same time, like just putting one foot in front of the other is going to allow you to begin to build up that process. I know, Dave, Carroll, you guys do a lot of things in the off season to create communication like that. What are some of the things you guys are doing this year?
We are taking some very targeted zip codes and starting to market to them in January and February for pre-planning. Some of that handwritten letter stuff that we were doing, that's really, really powerful. Really just staying in front of people. The thing is like, I always have to remind myself that like no one needs you until no one cares until they need you.
Right.
So making yourself more available through those different touches. If I say we're going to do one thing better this year, it's really focused geographically on the areas that we want to build up, because we're continuing to, in the cleaning company, get out of window cleaning services and focus much more on like multi-service areas where we can do, send a truck there for, $22, $24, $2,500 for a day type of thing. And that work is out there if you approach it. It's just putting yourself in the position to get it. And for us, I think that's the big focus, is really like, we've gotten to the point where we do, like, I'm happy with where our revenue's at, but it's figuring out how to create more of that now. It's the biggest, we were talking about this a little bit last week, Gary, like the biggest thing right now for me is not trying to invent new ideas or new ways to do something. It's how do we do more of what we're doing very well right now.
Right.
And so
I think that's the key with a lot of guys. They, we get that shiny object syndrome.
Yep.
I do. I have it,
Amen. Amen.
So it's hard sometimes to stay focused on the things that you do well. Like I was talking to somebody last week and we were talking about that shiny object syndrome. Yeah. I said, it's SOS, which also could be sink or swim. Like if you're constantly going after that next new thing and not building up what your foundation is, like it's okay to go after something new, but add it to your foundation, not get rid of something or not want to get better at something just because, ringless voicemails around, I'm going to do that instead of putting signs out or whatever,
No. With.
Exactly. What are some things you guys are doing, Mr. Sessions, to build up for the coming spring so you can be slammed and busy and happy all the time?
Yeah, so we've prepared a lot for this upcoming spring in our systems implementation for marketing. We're going to do door hangers, yard signs, and then we're targeting those same zip codes with Facebook advertisements by implementing a custom audience based off the cell phone and email list that we got from Dope Marketing. So we got the list, and that was the list that we got was how we did all of the ringless voicemail. So if you're wondering how I got 28,000 people's contact information to even do a ringless voicemail campaign after only being in year 2 of business, that's how we did it. And when we do it like that, then we can compare. We can actually create a custom audience because we have the emails and advertise towards them, as well as do ringless voicemails and email campaigns. And so we plan on doing all of that in addition to Google Ads and organic SEO search, and try to saturate this very specific area that we're in, as well as stack a bunch of different touches on top of each other, just to ensure that our conversion is higher this year than it has been before.
And that website scrolling at the bottom now, dopemarketing.com. He probably can get you a list.
Where they at?
It's below you. It's below you. There.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you still giving out the free hoodies, or am I talking out of school here?
We have some hoodies that we're still giving away. Yeah, we got the business census stuff. We're actually reaching out to a bunch of people to get that filled out. We got those free items, and you might get a hoodie with your free items. But we've got a couple waves of hoodies going out for people. We'll still be doing some more of that. But
so let me ask you this: so do you send out all the shit that I got at the same time? Like, is that, or is that just, like I got a box of shit, or is that just Gary Geiman? Like, thank you, Gary.
Yeah,
you're gonna send that to everybody.
That's what you get.
You get shoes and like a sweatsuit.
No, y'all are both miscommunicating. There's no way he's sending that to everyone.
You can't tell David now. He knows what his present is.
Yeah, you just ruined it for me. Thank you.
Sorry, Dave.
Hey, speaking of ruining stuff, have you got your coffee beans yet, Gary?
I have not.
All right. Well, hey, they're coming.
I'm waiting.
That's crazy, David, because I got my stuff like 2 weeks ago. I feel like.
Well, it went in order of importance. So,
David, you'll appreciate it. David, you know what these are? Order of importance. I like it. I like it. David, what do you know about these diplomat socks?
Those are what are those? Is it just American flag socks?
No, dude, they're the diplomats.
Oh, not mad about those at all.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you get
those? Know about that?
Where'd you get those?
Oh yeah.
I went on a
nice.
Oh, that's dope.
It glows in the dark. It matches the LeBrons that I got.
Oh,
wow. 17s. Yeah, if y'all don't know that, we're shoe collectors.
That's super dope. I got off of my sock kick. I was on a sock kick for a while. Stance socks.
For a while you were.
Yeah, I look at my sock drawer. I'm like, do I even have any white socks? I don't think I do. It's all
white socks are for soccer dads, though. So yeah. Especially the ones you pull up to your knees.
That's what right. That's what I need to give away is those dope marketing shoes. I'll wear those tomorrow. I'll put a video up. Those custom ones I got. We got to give away a pair of those.
Joe Devino says, send shoes to Raleigh.
I saw that. I see you.
So I collect shoes, just not sneakers. I had a kick on you saw them. They're called Greats. The Italian. What's that? Boots?
A lot
of cowboy boots. I do that.
I appreciate those cowboy boots.
I mean, they're steel toes. You can kick somebody in the ass and it don't hurt you.
What kind are they?
Just cowboy boots. I mean, I have a few pairs, but I'd been collecting the Italian. What are they like? They're like a sneaker, just not. They don't have a label. Brandon Jones wants some dope marketing socks. He wants his hat. Well, a way to get your hat is to either be at an event where I'm at or be a customer. One of those two. I'm not as free with my merch as Dave Carroll is.
We need the world wearing dope stuff.
And actually, I have the camo hats. We got a couple different hats. Black with the gray bill.
So Mike Hockman asked, how about a good script to email past inquiries? I don't do emails, but you do emails. How does that work?
To email past inquiries, a good script. Well,
I guess he's saying, like, if you hit up your client list, how should you go about it? Because
say, hey, this is Dave. Here's a list of stuff I can do for you this spring. Bullet points. I can get back to you within 48 hours with a bid. Thank you. Done.
But the thing you have to worry about is the subject line.
Dave, tell me about the
R-E, capital R, capital E, colon, spring services. Subject line.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you do it. The subject line is what matters in email. Guys want to write emails that are books. Nobody's going to read that. Like Dave said, you just make it quick, simple, easy, but concentrate on your subject line. Dave knows, like last 2020, I was messing around with subject lines and stuff. To a cold email audience, one time I got like a 25% open rate.
Which is unreal.
sick. And like sending out 35,000 emails. I'm not talking about sending out a couple hundred. Like sent out 35. I showed you the stats, 35,000, and it was like 8,800 opened. He's like, "What the hell?" I said, "I put free cocaine in the subject." But seriously, it's like it comes down to your subject line. That's going to get people to open email. And if you don't focus on that and practice and test and see what's going to work, then it doesn't really matter what you put in it. But then if they open it, like Dave said, do something that's simple and to the point.
I remember Billie Jean put out a subject line that said, "Will you marry me?"
Yes.
Best email open, like his best response ever. He gave out some scripts. I got to find those. We could do that in like a lead magnet or some shit. I got a bunch of his email subject lines that worked really well.
Here's the other thing, like sign up for Gary Vaynerchuk, Billie Jean, Ryan Stewart, Grant Cardone, get on their newsletter and you'll get emails with subject lines all day long. Grant Cardone will send you emails like every hour on the hour. Vaynerchuk's about the same way. But the thing is, like seeing those subject lines and seeing that copy tells you kind of what it is you need to do. Here's what I believe with copy. You either go short and sweet or you make it War and Peace long. But it has to be interesting. I had a memory pop up of some long content that I wrote on Facebook. And I was looking through the comments, and this one guy put in the comments, "Man, I wish you wouldn't have made this post so long because it took me so long to read it." But guess what? You fucking read it. I mean, that was the whole point. And he also clicked the link and filled out the form. So like you either make that email copy short, sweet, to the point, or you make it very long and entertaining and it keeps them engaged that they want to read it. There's a guy that I follow. I'll give you his name. It's Bill Mueller, I think, is his name. He's a copywriter, and all he does is email copyright. I think that's his name. Might be wrong. But I'm in his Facebook group. I'm on his newsletter. Like I read his stuff all the time. Who's the other guy, Dave? His dad, the book. Halbert.
Fucking right here. Come on, man.
Yeah. More on letters. Gary Halbert.
Gotta have that one on deck.
Bond's his son, right?
Bond Halbert. Yep. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah. So
yeah, cool.
He's a good follow. I think he has a newsletter too. Like,
you guys don't have this right here though.
Yeah, get that. That's good.
This is a great. It's just like more of like a, it's a story more.
Right.
But it's like there's some gems in here for sure. You know what I just found? You know what's hilarious? What I keep in this book? This is the first postcard I ever received through Dope 360.
Oh, really?
Ever.
Wash my shit.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the first postcard I ever got sending to Dope 360. Crazy how time flies. It was like a year ago.
Yeah. I remember when you kept asking me, give me an address, any address. Give me an address.
He still does that.
Some things never change.
All right. Any closing remarks, fellas, on this beautiful Tuesday in 2021 when it's not a shit show anymore?
Tell Varin she's got to take the Christmas lights down.
Nah, fuck that.
Leave them up. Leave them up till March.
Leave them up.
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy. I mean, who's seeing it?
As long as there's snow on the ground, there's no reason to remove them.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Leave them up till April.
It'll be snow for a while.
Jesus.
It'll be snow for a while.
Who sees them besides you?
I mean, no one. Yeah, we kind of live.
It's just you bitching then.
I like that warm white tree.
I would like to say subscribe to my YouTube channel, Trade School Consulting. You can go to YouTube and type in Trade School Consulting.
Hold on, I'll
find our channel. If you can't, That's it.
Trade.
Trade school.
So,
And you can go to the Facebook group, Pressure Washing Business School, and it's a free group to join. Trade school is free to subscribe. It's just a bunch of information about pressure washing, starting your business, pre-launching your business, things like that. So hopefully it helps you out.
are you hold on a second. Are you allowed to talk about what we were talking about prior getting on here with the bottle that you held up?
The bottle that I held up?
Yeah, the gallon jug of shit. No. The gallon jug that you have.
Oh, I'm allowed to talk about whatever. I'm a distributor.
No. Not that product, but what that product is going to be doing here in the coming weeks.
We can talk about it. What is the product going to be doing?
Oh, my God. How many beers have you had?
6.
Winning.
Don't you have an event?
I started an hour before, and David was late. So this is all your fault.
Don't you have an event?
Winning.
No. So you're asking about EBC and what they're doing when they come to Atlanta as far as what Carlos Gonzalez is putting on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would think if I was Los, I would probably want us to wait till a later date to announce anything.
All right. So we just hit a little teaser. We'll talk about it at another time, right?
Yeah,
Go
no,
check out Dave.
come on in Atlanta, and we're probably going to do it at the beginning of the Q1 for sure. So pay attention to that. Definitely look out for it.
And I know a couple. Dave and I are both. Are you going to the PWMCA in Myrtle Beach, Mr. Sessions?
I am. Yes, I will be there.
Dave and I will be speaking at PWMCA in Myrtle Beach. Dave, you have one of them pre-cum classes, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes. What'd you call it?
Pre-cum.
Yeah, don't call it that again, please.
Everywhere.
He has a pre-class. Whenever I hear the word pre, that's what I think.
We have a pre-class.
I'm a fucking child. What can I say?
A paid class. Come and learn you something.
Come and learn you
a little something about. I think Jamie's going to do a video about that. We'll do some promotion leading up to that's coming up pretty quick. I mean,
we have the 24-hour thing coming
Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
You and I are doing an hour. You want to hang out with us?
What's going on?
Huh?
You don't know.
Oh, Dave, I sent you the freaking text. You and I are doing an hour on the PWMCA. They're doing a 24-hour thing starting Saturday at 6, going Sunday till 6, and we're gonna have an hour where you and I are on.
Can we do 2 a.m.?
I mean, I don't give a fuck what time it is. He's gonna tell us. Sessions, you want in?
I want in.
Okay, so we'll all three do it. This sucks that I don't drink right now. That's gay. But I chose it, so this is what we have to do. We have to live. Oh, by the way, Mr. Carroll, just so you know, I have a line on a Michter's 10-year that has your name on it. So
what?
Send me the link.
Oh no. I'm gonna procure it and then get it to you.
My man.
Yeah,
I need that. Good bourbon.
If anybody hasn't drank Michter's 10-year, get you some. And if you get more than one, send it to me so I can add it to my collection because I don't have any right now. I drank the last one.
And if anybody has any connection on Coors Light out there, feel free to.
I know a plug. David's like that dude in the what's the show? Season 3 just came out. The fucking Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
the Cobra Kai.
It's Johnny. Light beers for pussies. I drink the Banquet. Did you watch that? Did you watch the whole thing yet? Season 3?
The whole season? No, I gotta watch it tonight. They already like Bubba loves it. Daya's like, that show is so violent.
It's awesome. We sat down on the first because we have such an exciting life and watched the entire thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch out when I'm watching that around David because I fuck around and get like drop kicked in my head while I'm watching it. He just gets in karate mode. Like I'll walk around, he'll have like a sock tied around his head, like doing ninja shit. I'm just like, dude, get out of here.
It's definitely not the greatest writing, but it is just a good show. I mean,
it's well done, and they keep bringing the old characters.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
back in.
And I won't ruin it for you.
It's very thought out. They do it well.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Well, let's do this again soon, guys, where Dave Sessions and I don't wait for 20 fucking minutes.
For who?
You.
For technical difficulties.
Yeah. Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.
Gentlemen.